Rawr! Welcome to Werner Herzog's sad movie for sad bears.
Why did you turn him into a vampire? He's just German.
I want to make a movie. I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Podcast, I said. Baby's First Watch List, the podcast that has had a real rough few weeks.
We're back, baby.
But we're back. We're back. We're here.
All of us are here.
Yeah, all of us are here.
The whole gang.
We're probably going to maybe cough a little bit or breathe heavy because of COVID.
But I promise you we don't have COVID anymore.
We don't have COVID anymore.
Or it's not transmissible anymore.
That's right. Today, we are covering our first documentary. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I love documentaries, especially ones about cults and popular culture.
And this is neither.
I said this isn't really about either one of those things.
Well, it could have been about a cult, but there just weren't enough followers.
People.
Yeah.
It's 2005's Grizzly Man, which I don't know if you guys have seen. Do people watch Grizzly Man?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not that like, oh my God, we watched this rare movie, but like, I feel like the general population probably hasn't seen it.
Yeah, well, they should because
They
it
should.
was awesome.
It's on Canopy. Go get a library card.
Yeah. Okay. Again, Canopy is a service that gives you, if you have a library card, you put it in and you get 5 titles per month, I think, or 10 now.
I think it depends on the library.
And it's awesome. It's basically like you have another free streaming service that you don't pay $10 a month for. You know, do it.
And it makes your taxes worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
Canopy is paid for by tax money.
Yeah, so use it. Watch Grizzly Man. Written and directed and narrated by the iconic Werner Herzog, Grizzly Man tells the life story and death story of Timothy Treadwell, a man...
Were you going to say Timothy Treadmill?
I was going to say Timothy Treadwell. Shut up.
R.I.P. Tim.
A man who strived to live among the bears in Alaska. Didn't go well.
I mean, honestly...
It kind of did go well.
It kind of did go well.
That is true. This movie was released in the summer of 2005, and it has an amazing 104-minute runtime. We love to see it.
Especially coming off the heels of Avatar.
Oh, my God. I'm still watching Avatar. Although you said that the second one may not make Best Picture.
Right. That's what I've been hearing. That's what my ears to the streets. That's what I'm hearing.
That's going to be really helpful for our Oscar thing we have planned.
Yeah, our Oscar episode.
Our Oscars episode.
Currently planned, I think, for the 25th, but that might change with this schedule, so we'll see.
And basically, we're going to try and win.
It's going to be a game. We're going to do a game.
We're going to fight and see who wins.
We're going to do a prediction game. It's not that...
I'm going to be like, hey, you jerk.
We're not
Butler.
We're not reenacting Gladiator here.
So anyway, I couldn't find the budget for this movie. I don't really think there was much of a budget. But it made $4.1 million and it premiered at Sundance Film Festival.
But the thing with Herzog's documentaries is he doesn't care. I don't think he cares what it makes.
I think his thing.
He just wants to explore things that he wants to explore, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Sort of like James Cameron.
Yeah, right. Oh, Lord. Sundance, by the way, if you guys are interested, viewers, listeners, they're partly virtual again this year. So if you want to watch a movie, we just ordered a whole bunch of them.
It's $20 a movie.
$20 a movie. And you kind of get the first go round. We did it last year and it was really fun. I didn't love most of the movies that we watched.
Yeah, but it's cool to just sort of
but
have no expectations going into something.
Yeah, I kind of love that. You don't...
There's no Rotten Tomatoes score. There's nothing.
No, thing about what the plot is. So I really enjoyed it, and we're doing it again this year. I think we bought, 5 movies?
6.
6? And we're going to watch how many?
6.
Woo! So this
Meanwhile, he does
movie,
this now, by the way.
Yeah, he blows raspberries. This movie, Grizzly Man, was a critical success with a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was nominated or won quite a few awards for Best Documentary out there. Do you know what Roger Ebert gave it?
4, didn't he?
4 out of 4.
I have his review, of course.
Heck
I know.
yeah. So much of the footage from this movie was filmed by the subject Timothy Treadwell, not Treadmill.
It's a lot of his footage, like from when he was out living with the bears.
Yes. And over 13 summers he spent in Katmai National Park and Preserve in Alaska. All of the footage was in the hands of his friend Joel Palovac, who actually is in this documentary, with whom he founded Grizzly People, it just says it was meant to protect bears by raising awareness.
Well, throughout this movie, he is very adamant about protecting the bears, but he doesn't actually protect them, and he doesn't give any examples of how he's protected them.
It's really funny, though, because the summer after he died, 5 bears were killed by poachers.
Yeah.
And Jewel said it's because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. But at the same time, he fought with the National Parks Service.
He cut a wrestling promo on those guys.
All they did was yell at him and give him citations for stuff because he wasn't doing right stuff.
He was trespassing. He was breaking all kinds of regulations. He was camping too close. He was camping too close to the maze, they called it.
Mm-hmm. He wouldn't put up a fence to protect himself.
Yeah.
He was a mess. So originally, producer Eric Nelson wanted to do a TV special on Treadwell, but he met Werner Herzog at a wildlife festival because apparently
why wouldn't
to wildlife festivals?
Why wouldn't Werner Herzog be
he?
At a wildlife festival?
And so then they decided to make a full-length documentary instead. Thank goodness. Jewel, Timothy's friend, agreed, an ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
He has 5,000 ex-girlfriends.
Yes.
It's so bizarre.
Yes.
But he acts like...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like an incel.
He never had a girlfriend in his life. Yeah. Jewel agreed to hand over 100 hours of archival footage, and the rest is history. Tom, this is one of my favorite... It might be my favorite documentary.
It is. It's my favorite documentary.
It's so good. It has such an interesting point of view and tone to it. The tone is funny but doesn't make fun of him.
Yeah. It's it recognizes the absurdity of what's going on.
Exactly. I really, really loved this.
But it treats him with respect in that, it doesn't treat him like a joke.
Right. He's not, when you watch his own footage,
yes,
you may come with that, perspective, but not based on the footage that Werner Herzog put in.
Werner Herzog doesn't think that he's a joke. He finds him to be a fascinating person, but I think Herzog takes the opposite argument.
Well, Timothy Treadwell's argument is that we can live harmoniously with nature.
And Herzog's is the opposite.
Is that we need to treat nature with respect, but in a way that we understand that nature can F us up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which is super interesting.
Yeah.
This is a great documentary.
It is the best.
All right, Tom. I need a summary from you. Even though you're holding a baby. Are we switching? Are we going to switch him over?
No, April's kind of...
April's on me. So, yeah, if you're listening...
I'll see what I can do.
And not watching, Tom has the baby.
I'm wrangling the baby.
April.
I also have to use my phone. So we're going to see how this goes.
It's going to be interesting.
All right, so this isn't a run-of-the-mill plot summary, because it's not really presented in a way where it's like a plot. So I'm just going to sort of run through the concept and some of the major events that we see.
The Bumblebee part?
Like the Bumblebee part, I think, is in here, yeah. Okay, so Herzog used sequences extracted from more than 100 hours of video footage shot by Timothy Treadwell during the last 5 years of his life, where he would live in the summers with grizzly bears in Katmai National Park in Alaska.
And he kept saying he did it all by himself, but he didn't.
No. Treadwell is a 40-something surfer-looking dude who grew up on Long Island, moved to California. He added a fake Australian accent at times. He sort of is like a knockoff Steve Irwin. He ran a nonprofit group he founded and ran a nonprofit group called Grizzly People, as we spoke about. And he would go around to schools and kind of just show children how great bears are. And
he did it for free.
He did it for free, which is cool. I mean,
I do like that.
Yeah, as long as he's not like, oh, go walk up to the bears, like, But as long as he was doing like,
listen, I don't have really all that much against what Timothy did. Tim.
All right, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Treadwell had been living with the bears for 13 consecutive summers with the pretext of studying and protecting them. He gives them names like Sergeant Brown, Mr. Chocolate, and Mickey.
Mickey.
He nuzzles them with his hand, he puffs his chest when they get aggressive, and he alternates between talking about how much he loves the animals and talking about how they will slaughter him if he ever acts the wrong way around them.
And he alternates between being like, oh, you're the cute bear, and being like, oh, you better not get near me, bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He has footage of events like 2 bears fighting, corpses of a small bear and a small fox, a fox stealing his hat and bringing it back to its den, which is one of my favorite parts of the
cute.
movie.
The foxes are so cute.
And a lot more legitimately fascinating material. Throughout the video footage of his trips to Katmai, we also get a picture of Treadwell's worldview. While his ideas about bears and the animal kingdom are rosy and romantic, despite recognizing the inherent dangers of living with and interacting with bears, his ramblings on other issues are less focused.
Questionable at best.
Treadwell's thoughts range from his connection with the wild to paranoia, self-pity, misogyny, homophobia, and obscene rants against poachers and the Park Service. He also touches a pile of bear poop and exalts about how much he loves it.
Yeah, that was so gross.
Herzog also conducted and filmed interviews with Treadwell's family and friends, as well as bear and nature experts. And the park rangers and the experts commented on statements and actions by Treadwell, such as his repeated claims that he was defending the bears from poachers. Park rangers noted that, I guess, up to that point, there had never been a recorded incident of poaching at Katmai National Park. Apparently ended the year after he died.
Yes.
Park rangers also pointed out that, bears are wild and potentially dangerous animals, given that Treadwell was lucky to have survived as long as he did without getting mauled.
Pretty impressive.
One park ranger suggested that the bears were so confused by Treadwell's direct casual contact that they weren't sure how to react to him. They said it the guy said it in a bit more of a brusque way, but
Yeah.
Other park rangers note that the bears were not threatened by poachers, but that Treadwell's actions put them at real risk of
That's
harm
really
and death.
interesting, actually.
By familiarizing them with human contact, the theory is that Treadwell increased the likelihood that the bears would approach human habitation seeking food and would cause a confrontation in which humans would kill them. So in 2003, Treadwell was camping in Katmai with his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard. Treadwell usually left the park at the end of summer, but that year he stayed into early October. He's like, blah, 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 I don't care. This put him and Huguenard at greater risk because in this period, bears are aggressive about searching for food to store up calories for hibernation during the winter. Mm-hmm. Herzog speculates that their staying later in the season ultimately resulted in their being attacked and killed.
It got I don't know if you say this, they left.
No, I actually didn't say that.
So they left to be like, all right, season's done.
Yeah.
And then
something happened with their flight.
Yeah, he got into a fight because he thought that his flight was too expensive or something, or there was a discrepancy with how much it cost. So then he said, all right, forget this, I'm going back.
Yeah.
And then they were going to stay an extra week, and Amy was like, I really don't want to. Yeah. I'm really scared.
Amy, who they noted was afraid of bears.
Yeah. She must have really liked this guy. I'm like, oof.
Tim.
And something else, the bears that they were friendly with had already hibernated. So it was all these kind of unfamiliar bears that migrated towards that area. So it wasn't the bears that he's known for the past decade plus. It was all these new bears.
Yes.
That were more aggressive, more hungry, and
getting ready to hibernate. So yeah, Tim and Amy, they're attacked by a bear.
This is kind of interesting too. It is literally the night before they're due to be picked up.
Mm-hmm.
The guy comes in with his helicopter the next day and he's like, where are they?
Yep. So the pilot who discovered their remains noted that he saw a lone man's arm with a wristwatch and couldn't keep that image out of his mind. And the wristwatch was still ticking. And they have the watch. Werner gives it to Jewel, I think.
Yep.
And so after an investigation, the coroner and the park police gave so I have it here. Gave the wristwatch to Jewel Palovec, an ex-girlfriend of Treadwell. Treadwell had bequeathed her his belongings, which included his video camera, which had captured an audio record of the attack, but they think it was a surprise because they didn't have time to take the cap off the camera. So it's just the audio.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was 6 minutes.
Yeah. And so Jewel gave Herzog permission to listen to the audio record. Okay, one moment. and he didn't play it for the audience because you see him listening to it.
It's a really, really, I think, fascinating way to do it.
Yeah.
So he, as the narrator and the director, is listening, but it's just the back of his head.
Yeah.
Listening to the actual footage that they have, the audio, and he is very much distressed by it.
Yeah.
And he tells Jewel, never listen to this.
He
burn
tells
it.
her to destroy it.
Yeah.
And he then, like, there's like a little bit of a montage after that, and it's like towards the end. And Herzog, in addition to presenting the views from the professionals and all that, Herzog gives his own perspective, like straight up, not like, oh, I think this is what the documentarian was going for. Like, no, Herzog is like, this is my belief on this whole situation. He concluded first that Treadwell had a sentimental view of nature, thinking he could tame the wild bears, which, of course. He also notes that in his view, Herzog's view, nature is cold and harsh, and that Treadwell's view clouded his thinking, and that led him to underestimate danger, which led to both his and Amy's deaths. And he mentions something like, he shows like a close-up of a bear, and he says something like Treadwell believed that that he had a connection with the bear, but if you look in the bear's eyes, all you see is a half-bored interest in food or something like that. It's just a totally different. Two people are looking at the same thing and just see the polar opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so the documentary ends with another snippet of Treadwell just walking with a pair of bears, and the credits roll.
Mm-hmm. You didn't put the bumblebee part in.
I didn't put the bumblebee part in.
Okay, so my favorite part is there's like, it's just a bumblebee just laying on a flower.
Well, it's the context is Herzog is saying, like, he was describing Treadwell's belief in, like, the amazement of nature.
Okay, so Treadwell is like, here is a bee and she died. And it's just like a bee just like laying on the flower. And he's just so sad.
It's so tragic.
It's so tragic and beautiful. And then
there's a hard cut.
And then it's just, oh, the bee moved. It's so funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of unintentional humor in this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, Herzog's just trying to point out, like, Treadwell thinks that this is like this grand thing, but it's like, no, the bumblebee's not even dead. Like, what do you, like, you don't even know. Right. You don't even know what that is. Like, you don't even know what's happening.
Well, and one of the things I really like about this is all of the kind of tough Alaskan wildlife people who just say it like it is, man.
Oh, man.
They don't have much sympathy for what happened.
No.
And they let it be known. They don't care that a camera is getting their reaction.
No.
Which I appreciate.
I liked that they went to the Native American Museum.
Yeah.
And because that's not a perspective that you get a lot of the time in situations like this. And obviously there's a large Native American population all over America, but especially on in an area like this. You okay? And so even they were like, this guy he's just harming the bears. Like, he's not doing anything good for them.
Right.
Because he's going to get them killed.
Yeah.
And that may have been why 5 of them got killed the following year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You might be right. I also like that they tell you at the top that he died.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
him
none
dying.
Of that is a spoiler.
When we said that in the intro, that was not a spoiler at all.
No. Like, it literally is at the beginning of
the first time you see him, it says Timothy Treadwell, and then it says his birth year and his death year.
Yeah. So that is such an interesting way to do it, you know? Fire of Love, we just watched.
Which, yeah.
Relatively recently.
Which was at Sundance last year.
It was at Sundance last year, and it was a kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
It was a married couple that really liked to go
volcano
chasing.
They were volcanologists.
Yes. And so they really, like, anytime a volcano erupted, they went and traveled there, whatever.
Yeah.
And they filmed everything. So there's, like, tons and tons of footage. Did Nat Geo pick that one up, too?
Yeah.
Is it Nat Geo? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
the same
on...
people as Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
The same, whatever, parent company or whatever. And so they died, too.
Yeah.
But they don't... That movie was kind of like French new wave... kind of
that movie
interesting.
That movie was more sympathetic towards the subjects.
That movie had too much science in it.
There's a lot of science in it.
There was a lot of
I
science
loved it.
in
I thought it was really interesting. A lot of really great footage. Again.
I also think it would be really good if I taught like 7th grade science.
Yeah.
But I don't teach 7th grade science.
Yeah.
So I was a little bored. It was like talking about magma a lot.
So much magma.
So much magma. And I just,
Yo, like in this one.
I liked it. That was cool.
In this one, so many flying insects.
Yes, lots of flying insects. But there were a lot of cute foxes.
There were so many foxes.
They were so sweet. But there was a little dead baby fox.
Yeah.
What's a baby fox? A foxlet?
A pup?
A pup? Is it a pup?
I don't know, maybe.
Pup. Yeah. Oh, before we get started on my like questions and comments, I went on a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay.
Down a rabbit hole today because I looked up every person that's been killed by a bear in North America.
They have a list of that?
It's on Wikipedia, and they tell you how everybody died, how old they were.
How many were there?
It was a lot. I mean, it's rare. It's very, very rare. And actually, in the 2020s, it's only been like 4 people.
Because everybody's inside on their phones.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, you should read it. It's an interesting Wikipedia page. But something that I found super interesting was a couple of different things. One was it used to be a lot more captive bears killing people.
Right.
Like a lot of people back in like the 1940s had bears as pets. Like one was like a 4-year-old child was walking past a gas station and the gas station's pet bear attacked him. Stuff like that. It's like, what? Now, as you're closer to our current day, it's a lot more wild bears.
Well, it's a lot of people probably hiking and doing stuff like that now.
Yes. Now, of course, Timothy Treadwell was one of them. He's fallen asleep. Yeah. Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard were 2 of them. But there were a couple other interesting ones I wanted to talk about before we get into our questions. Okay. Because why not?
Go for it. This is probably the only time we're going to be talking about bear attacks.
Yeah. So one thing I found interesting was we've been to a place that has a lot of bear attacks. Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yellowstone National
about Yosemite?
Park. Yosemite, I didn't see
I don't think there's as many bears
at all. We saw bears.
We did.
Yeah. But there have been quite a few attacks in Yellowstone. Like, a lot of them were just people hiking.
But I could see people thinking they're hot, going off track, and then off trail, and then all of a sudden there's a bear. And
well, in fact, one of them I read about, a guy was told, all right, the people that work at the park, like, let's give you your bear safety tips, and he said no. He said, I know enough, and then he ate a snack on a log, and then he was killed by a bear and eaten. So that was sad. One was a little girl that was like a 1-year-old whose parents were carnies, and the bear ate her.
Like
at the carnival.
Carny bear?
A carny bear. And then, there was one in New Jersey, and it was very recent. It was actually 2014, and it was a 22-year-old, so it was someone that was our age.
Where?
In West Milford.
Oh, okay.
In a park. A guy, I think his name was Darsh Patel. He and some friends were going to go on a hike, and as they entered into the park, this couple was like, there's a bear up there. You shouldn't go. And they're like, okay, but we're going to just go. And him and his one friend went to take pictures, and it didn't end well.
The other friend came back?
They scattered, and then he died.
He was the unlucky one?
Yeah. Another thing was there was a famous 22 years old is not our... Oh my God, I'm not reading that. Our producer here is sending inappropriate text message.
He's a damn, he had to be brown.
Anyway, the other thing was there was a very famous movie bear that ended up killing a trainer.
Oh, Paddington.
Not Paddington. No, it's actually from a movie that you like that I haven't seen. That is a comedy from the 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s.
That there's a bear in?
That there's a killer bear. It's like something the killer bear. Dewey the Killer Bear or something is his name.
Oh, this sounds familiar, but I can't remember what movie it is.
Yeah.
Wait. Dewey the Killer Bear.
I think it's Dewey the Killer Bear.
I can't stop thinking of the killer chimp from Nope.
Yeah, no, it's, oh my God. That movie, Nope, like scarred me. There's one
Yeah.
scene in that. There's two scenes.
Was it Semi-Pro?
Yeah, it was Semi-Pro. So like literally like 3 months after Semi-Pro came out, he killed his trainer.
Oh man.
Isn't that wild?
Well, in the movie, Will Ferrell is just like a snake oil salesman basically, and he gets into he has a staged fight with a bear, and the bear like tries to kill him,
There you go.
and he escapes.
Yeah, well, it's kind of sad what
Yeah,
was happening.
Stephen K. Miller.
Yes.
He died.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't the actual Bears trainer. He was like the brother of the trainer.
He wasn't working as a trainer, but he was attempting to perform a bear wrestling stunt supervised by his brother, Randy. Or his cousin, Randy.
Cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild, right? And then something else that I found on Wikipedia.
Dewey the Killer Bear is the name in Semi-Pro.
Yes.
Rocky the Bear.
Rocky the Bear
his
is
real
the
name.
is the Bear's professional name. I don't know.
Yeah.
His government name.
Yeah. Oh man, Semi-Pro. We got to do Semi-Pro. We're actually doing Step Brothers in a
couple weeks
soon.
Yeah. What's really sad to me though is that like the bears are often killed when they kill people.
This one was.
Most are.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Like a bear's gonna bear. Like what are you gonna do?
I mean, the Grizzly Man one is entirely Treadwell's fault.
Right. Like, and then that bear was killed. Yeah. And it's like, well, I thought that your job was to protect the bear.
I think that's what Herzog says at some point in there too. He's like, his one job was that he was protecting the bears, but he specifically got this bear killed.
Yeah. Right, exactly. But they did find their remains inside the bear. Like that bear did it.
The bear was caught red-handed.
Yeah, yes. So the other thing I found on Wikipedia was that in the largest bear attack happened over like a while, and it was a bear that like terrorized a Japanese town in like 1915. He killed 7 people.
He just
he
kept
would
coming
like
back.
enter houses and just attack people.
He just kept coming back.
He just kept coming back.
That is wild.
And then there were people
I would move. After like the 4th one, I'm getting out of there.
It's crazy. And what's interesting is that a guy who was like a little kid when this happened, he ended up becoming like a bear hunter. Like that was his job later.
That's like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said for every person that was killed, I'm killing 10 bears. Which again, I don't agree with that.
Right. It's not
a bear is going to do what a bear does.
Even if you kill the bear that killed your family or whatever, the other 9, it's not their fault.
No, I don't even think that
I'm just saying, even
his
if
family was killed. I think he just was like, it was his village.
I was writing that into the film that I'm going to make.
Yeah. But I found that super interesting. It's one of those like, you know, I grew up a true crime aficionado, and you get down major rabbit holes when it comes to that stuff on Wikipedia. So if you're interested in learning more about bear attacks in North America, there's a very comprehensive Wikipedia page on it. And that's what I did with a lot of my time.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
that is our deep dive podcast prep.
Yeah, exactly.
Wikipedia articles about bear attacks.
Exactly. So my first question is, if you could go and do something every summer, what would it be?
Do I have to do the same thing?
It could be like, well, just give an answer.
What do you mean just give an answer? I
like,
have a question.
Well, and then I can tell you if the answer is good or not.
Well, I would maybe, I mean, something down this road, like maybe do a different national park every summer.
That's nice. Yeah. I think that's really good. I think I would do something similar. Like I would try every example of mint chocolate chip ice cream in this state, and then I would rank them.
Yes, that's exactly the same.
You're going outside. Most ice cream shops are like outdoorsy, right?
Listen, we just quarantined for about almost a week, and Aaron is like needed to get outside, and now it's just like getting mint chocolate chip ice cream is the same thing as going to a national park.
Here's the thing with mint chocolate chip ice cream, the ideal one, number 1, the most important thing when it comes to mint chocolate chip ice cream, it needs to be green. I don't want white mint chocolate chip. I don't want pink peppermint chocolate chip. Green, green, Green only.
Okay.
Number 2, no rectangular chunks.
See, I'm good with the rectangular
I know
chunks.
you are, and I'm not.
I
I'm
have
not
no-
okay with it.
I have no strong feelings on any of these things.
I need mini chocolate chips. I'm also okay with an Oreo swirl. That's fine.
But not
too.
peppermint.
No.
Okay.
If you have peppermint ice cream, I like that too, but that's separate. Okay?
All right.
That is the most important criteria for my Timothy Treadwell every summer traveling around New Jersey ice cream parlors to rank mint chocolate chip ice cream.
But it's funny because where we are, we're closer to Pennsylvania than we are to like Bergen County, New Jersey, which is up north.
Yeah, that's true.
So like we're gonna abide by that boundary. We're not gonna head over into like nearby in Bucks County.
No one said it was going to be easy, Tom.
Okay, you just got to do it for the love of the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, that's
for
fair.
the love of nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
the love of green.
I said, who else would you like to direct Grizzly Man?
Who, if somebody was doing like a remake,
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
I like that.
Michael Bay, I think you could get some totally unnecessary explosions.
Yeah.
You could get like Treadwell. All of a sudden, his the plane that he's coming in is running out of gas, and it's careening towards the Grizzly Maze, and he has to fly it out of the way, and he gets it into the water, and he makes a safe landing. Amy is safe. The other people that are with him are safe because apparently there were people there with him. He swims back to shore. Was there water there? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And duh, because
There's salmon fishing.
Yep.
Not in the Yemen though.
And everybody makes it back ashore, and then all of a sudden the plane just explodes. That's Michael Bay, baby.
I think I would choose either Richard Linklater.
Okay.
Then it would just be him hanging with the bears.
Yeah.
No real plot, just vibes.
Yeah, and then and Timothy Treadwell would be like,
Yeah, exactly. Played by Jack Black.
yeah, absolutely.
And then the other one, I think Bong Joon-ho would do a really good job with it. I just like his work, you know?
Yeah. There would be a lot going on. There would be a lot of genre bending.
That's right.
It would be like a comedy, then it would be a mystery, then it would be which is kind of what Grizzly Man is, actually.
Yeah, it is. My other question here is...
Wait a minute. What about like Rob Reiner?
Oh, yeah, he'd be great.
Yeah, he could do it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, at least Rob Reiner specifically from like the late 80s, early 90s, because
Yeah.
I don't think he had many hits after that time period.
No, probably not. But yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
James Cameron, too.
No, it'd be like 5 hour long.
It would be all 13 summers. No, well, Linklater would do it
Over
13 years.
Well, that is what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite person in this doc?
Oh, man.
It's got to be Werner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
It's got to be the cop guy, or not the cop, the pilot who's like, he was stupid.
Yeah, he said the R word.
Oh, I don't like that, actually.
Yeah, we're not that
He's
guy. We're not with that guy.
Yeah.
He said, I think they thought he was.
Yeah, that's very messed up. I don't like that.
It was
at all.
not good.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love Werner. You gotta love. You don't have to love the coroner.
No,
That guy-
I did like him actually.
That guy
So
was
weird.
insane. So he goes into the most gruesome detail about how these people died, and it's like he's getting pleasure from what he said.
He's just very like, and then blah 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 blah.
But
like, very
no,
matter of fact.
No, but like the way it's being filmed is like they're in like his lab or whatever you want to call it, and the camera is like right up in his face, and his face is like in shadows, and he's like, and then the shoulder was torn off, and like he's like staring directly into it's so creepy.
That's great directing.
It is. It's that's cinematography. That's cinema.
I said here, would you go with me on my bear summer if I asked you? Because Timothy Treadwell, he said that he always made it seem like he was by himself all summer.
It was
But
his character. His character was by himself.
Yeah, but he actually brought a companion a different girlfriend
Multiple times, yeah.
quite a bit. And according to Wikipedia, Amy was with him 3 of the summers, not just 2, like the documentary states.
Oh, okay.
So that's true love.
3 times.
Yeah.
I think it's true love if it's the first time.
I agree.
If you're going to the Grizzly Maze,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are you coming with me if I'm trying to live with the bears?
Is this pre-baby?
Yeah.
I would need a little bit more preparation and like an itinerary, I think,
Okay.
before I jumped into that. And I don't feel that Treadwell had much of that going on.
And I was just like, I'm living with the bears.
Yeah, like what do you want? I have this weird tent and that's it. I'm
Yeah.
living with the bears
Yeah.
and the foxes. That's it.
Yeah. So you wouldn't.
I would have to think long and hard about it, but I would lean towards no.
I would probably
lean
go
towards
with you
see
if
you
it was
later.
like your 5th summer. Like you've done this, you know what you're doing.
He had done it by
yeah,
11
so
times
if I
by
was
then.
Amy, yeah, I'd probably go. I'm ride or die.
Yeah, but I would have to know what kind of bugs are out there. That was a lot of bugs.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like I'm talking like I'm not like bugs, whatever, but I'm like malaria, like that kind
Is
of
there
stuff.
malaria in Alaska?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
would
know.
have to know. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I got Lyme disease and it was not fun. I just kept throwing up in my car.
Yeah, on the way to my grandma's funeral.
Oh my god, literally, I got Lyme disease and your cousin's wedding was that weekend and then your grandma died and the funeral was the day before. So I was laying
The day before the wedding.
Yes.
Yes.
So I laid on the floor in your bedroom.
Yes, I remember.
And then I literally could not stand up at the church.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand up. It was so bad.
It wasn't good.
And then the wedding had so much food.
And you could barely
eat it. And I couldn't drink because I was on antibiotics.
Yep.
I couldn't have the champagne toast. It was just me, a couple of vegetables.
Like Timothy Treadwell.
And like a fever. It was like a fever dream.
You were the Timothy Treadwell of that wedding.
It was really bad. The wedding was great though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the funeral was nice too. But the Lyme disease was not pleasant. I said here the craziest thing about this movie is his mom's eyeshadow and that his
I
dad
forgot about the parents.
and
I
that-
forgot about
his dad is wearing those glasses where the sunglass part flips up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They were typical Long Island.
yeah, but they live in Florida now, of course.
Yeah, well, you know.
I missed the part where they tell Werner that Timothy had some like mental issues and like he didn't really know like where he was going to be, like what he wanted to do. And when he went to California, he started doing like picking up acting jobs and doing like auditions for stuff. And according to them, Timothy Treadwell Timothy Treadwell's not his real name. That was a name he picked up when he went to California. I forget his real name, but it was like something normal.
Like Beckett or something.
Yeah. Timothy Treadwell's a great
name.
A great name. But he was doing auditions, and according to his parents, he was the runner-up for the Woody Harrelson role in Cheers.
It's genius.
It's absolutely genius. Sliding doors, man. Maybe Woody Harrelson would have been the one in Alaska if he didn't get that role. And Timothy Treadwell would have been
actually see that, I think.
Timothy Treadwell would have been in White Men Can't Jump.
Yes.
And in 3 Billboards.
Yeah.
Maybe Zombieland.
know.
Timothy Treadwell.
Could have been him. I think no one talks about the fact that Timmy had a boogie board with a Union Jack on it.
Well,
I want
yeah.
you to just think about that. A boogie board
Yeah.
with the British flag.
Yeah. Well, he was pretending to be Australian.
But that makes no sense.
He couldn't get the one with the Australian flag on it. And the Union Jack is on the Australian
It is.
flag.
It's just in that corner. Yeah. What would you want on your boogie board?
I don't know, but Tim's an Anglophile.
It's called it's a Lisa Frank dolphin is the correct answer.
Oh, I would actually do like Ash and Pikachu.
On your boogie board?
Yeah, because I had a skateboard that was Ash
It'd be
and Pikachu.
kind of cool if you did Ash and Pikachu like riding a dolphin.
Why wouldn't they be riding like a Lapras or a Pokemon?
Okay, number one, I'm not a freaking nerd, Tom. What is a Lapras?
It's a Pokemon.
What kind of Pokemon? Is it an aquatic Pokemon?
It is. It's got like it's like a big turtle almost with a really long neck and a giant shell.
All right, I think that's fine.
It's the Pokemon that Ash surfs on.
Are turtles in the ocean?
Yeah. I mean, they're amphibians, I think. Or are they reptiles?
I think they're amphibians.
I think they're reptiles. But they're both. They
Frogs are amphibians.
Let's find out.
Turtles
Yes.
are probably... I feel like the shell makes them... I don't know. Are they scaly?
I think they're reptiles because
they're scaly?
Yeah. Turtles are reptiles.
And frogs are amphibians.
Frogs are amphibians.
Like
yeah.
the frog from our next movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spirited Away.
That's right. Okay. Well, I still would go with the classic '90s Lisa Frank Dolphin.
Both of our choices are 90s inspired.
They're very nostalgic.
Yeah.
What does that say?
But I literally had an Ash and Pikachu skateboard. That's what I'm thinking.
You never skateboarded.
I did for like a couple days. Like when I played the bass.
I got a guitar one Christmas. It was like,
Yeah. I went to Guitar Center and like picked out a bass for myself, and then I played it like 4 times. I still have it. It's at home. Maybe I'll pick it back up.
Maybe. Did you ever go boogie boarding?
No.
It's fun.
I have never been. I've always kept the ocean at arm's length.
Mm.
And then.
You're like, I respect Mother Earth.
I don't like where things are faster than me, first of all, and everything in there is faster than me.
Also, there's just so much unexplained.
Second, a few years ago, I went to Myrtle Beach with a bunch of my friends, and this was probably like 7-8 years ago now. And I went to the beach, and I was like, okay, haven't been a big fan of the beach. I'm fine with the beach. I haven't been a big fan of the ocean, the water, very much in my life. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to give it one more shot. Maybe this is going to be real fun. I'm going to go with all my friends. We're going to, hang out, whatever. The water's great. It's South Carolina. It's, right on the coast. It's nice. Stung by a jellyfish. That's it. That's the sign. That was when I knew I'm just done. It's not for me.
I like going in the ocean a little bit, but I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, I was like that, and then I got stung by a jellyfish.
And it's like, oh, seaweed. And you're like, ew. And then you're like, and then it was like jellyfish pieces. Jellyfish pieces?
Yeah.
Where it's like, like someone threw like Vaseline in the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't trust that.
I got stung a few times that day. Like, there was like 4 at once. It was like all these like little ones.
Did you do the,
No, I didn't. Apparently it doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
But we thought about it. I wasn't the only one who got stung. A few of us got stung.
Wow. Myrtle Beach, get it together.
Yeah. Honestly, Myrtle Beach isn't freaking, Amalfi Coast exactly. So.
Hey, I'm sure they both have Senor Frogs.
Yes, exactly.
Something else I found on
Shout out
Wikipedia.
Broadway on the Beach for all my Myrtle Beach heads.
A lot of people are killed there. Like, it's a big
Myrtle Beach?
like murder hub, yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Like, a lot of true crime if you watch, like, Disappeared.
Hey, Myrtle Beach people, we made it.
All right. In the 85-year history of Katmai National Park, this was the first instance of someone being killed by a bear.
Ironically, and also fittingly at the same time.
My last question / comment, takes us a little bit out of Grizzly Man because, you got to get out of the scientific nature of what we're doing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're always too scientific.
A little
too detailed.
Too detailed.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite documentaries? And don't worry, I have a list of like 15 of them.
So this one is my favorite one. I went back and I looked at my list on Letterboxd.
I did the same thing.
All the docs that I have. Oh, I just pulled it right back up. That I have rated. This is the only one I have rated 5 stars.
Wow.
My other ones that I have are Fire of Love. I have up here. One of the best ever is King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters.
That's right. Who showed you that?
You did.
I did.
It was one of those that was like on my list forever, and then I just never got to it.
King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters is about like a normal guy who beats the Donkey Kong record, and there's a crazy guy who gets mad at him.
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was like it was supposed to be adapted into a movie, and Ben Stiller was rumored to be in the running
Billy?
there. Yeah.
I could see him from like Dodgeball, like White Goodman from Dodgeball as Billy Mitchell.
But it never came to fruition, unfortunately.
I think aren't they picking it back up? Aren't they going to end up doing something with it?
I truly hope so.
I thought I read something, or maybe they're doing a follow-up or something like that. I don't know.
It slaps.
13th, on a more serious note.
Yes.
About the 13th Amendment and how it's Ava DuVernay. And it's about the prison system and how it has forced racial inequality.
Yep. It's very well done.
Yeah. Awesome. Those are the 3 that I've rated 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Then I've got, just to rattle a couple off, Flea.
Yep, we just watched that last year.
3 Identical Strangers.
Yeah, I put that on my list.
Summer of Soul.
Yeah, I love that one. Shout out Questlove.
Crip Camp.
I love Crip Camp.
Murder Ball.
That's a great one.
Spellbound.
Oh, that's a great one.
The Last Dance.
Oh, that's the Michael Jordan one, right?
Yeah, and apparently this is listed as a documentary. Jackass.
Yeah, Jackass Forever.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great one.
I don't know. You got Exit Through the Gift Shop.
I love that one.
Dear Zachary.
Yeah, I love that one. That one's traumatizing.
Yeah. I watched some for the Oscars the last couple years, but none of them really are like majorly stuck out at me. Won't You Be My Neighbor was good.
Yep. You're adding all these good ones.
The Andre the Giant one was good.
That was all right. Yeah.
That was the only one you said was all right. And I think there was one more I saw that I was like, oh yeah, that one. Oh, remember The Princess?
I put The Princess.
Yeah.
That's a Princess Diana one.
Yeah.
Told like without a narrator, so it's pretty much through footage.
Yeah.
It's so good.
There's also one that Orson Welles did later in his career in like the 70s called F for Fake. And it's a documentary about how like all art is fake.
I feel like that's very Exit Through the Gift Shop.
It kind of is. It's definitely a precursor to something like Exit Through the Gift Shop.
And Exit Through the Gift Shop.
Did I say that? I meant to say that if I didn't.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one is by Banksy.
I literally wrote, I'm looking at my review for F for Fake, and I wrote, it feels like Banksy owes his existence to this movie.
There you go. I also have Amy, which is the Amy Winehouse doc.
Okay.
Which is very similar to The Princess in the way it's told.
Yeah. What about Beanie Mania? About Beanie Babies?
That was fun. I love watching like trashy true crime docs. Like, remember Abducted in Plain Sight?
Oh my God. I didn't put that. I don't have that one on here. That was wild, and you just feel awful.
Yeah, you feel terrible.
You feel dirty watching something like that.
Won't You Be My Neighbor was so good.
Was the opposite of that.
Yes, I saw it in theaters by myself, and it was like me and a bunch of like 45-year-old women. I'm like, we're all sobbing. We're sobbing.
That was a good one.
That was so cute.
I liked it more than the movie, the Hanks movie.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Yes. Even though director Marion Heller,
she's good.
Shout out.
Yeah. She has a movie coming this year.
Does she?
Mm-hmm. I can't say its name on air.
Oh, okay. I really liked Crip Camp from last year or the year before.
Yes. That was nominated for the Oscar, right?
That was nominated for the Oscar.
I forget if it won.
I don't know.
I don't think it won.
But it was very much about disability rights in the United States.
Yeah. Well, you like Cheer and stuff. Like you like that kind of stuff too, which I think that stuff counts. It's just a
it's like a docuseries.
It's just a TV. Yeah.
That took a dark turn in season 2.
Yeah.
Summer of Soul is really good.
I love Summer of Soul.
It's basically
that's what won.
like
that's
an
what
extended concert.
Yeah.
That was the Harlem music festival.
Yeah.
And the footage was lost for 50 years.
And Questlove got it and restored it.
And it was awesome.
I will just do anything Questlove. If Questlove has something musical out there, I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be amazing.
Great.
He just knows so much about music.
You missed the best documentary of all time, Hoop Dreams.
I haven't watched it.
It's so good. It's about 2 high school basketball players that want to become NBA stars.
Did they? Oh.
I don't think so. I don't remember, though. Murder Ball, if I know you mentioned it, if you don't know what that is, it's like a wheelchair. It's not wheelchair basketball.
Was it rugby or
wheelchair
something?
Rugby or something. It's a really like hardcore sport, Olympic sport.
And the main guy in it is in one of the Jackass movies.
Yes.
And he does stuff with them.
And it's like an MTV
it's
so it's,
It's wheelchair rugby.
The Catfish documentary is actually not bad.
The original?
Yeah, before it became
Catfish.
The Catfish TV show, which also is iconic. Dear Zachary, you mentioned that one is I almost threw up. I was crying so hard that I almost I started like dry heaving. So that if you were looking for something that makes you do that,
yeah,
Dear Zachary's great. Yeah, Exit Through the Gift Shop is like a Banksy thing where it's like, is it really a documentary? It's
Mr.
Sort of,
Brainwash.
Yeah, so it's basically like talking about and showing this upcoming artist, Mr. Brainwash, because he washes your brain.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, is this guy for real? And all these like celebrities end up buying his work, and it's all like kind of fake.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting too.
It is like F or Fake. That's very similar.
There you go. Mad Hot Ballroom is really good. That is kids living in New York City that take ballroom lessons at school in their public schools, and they end up having a competition, very similar to like a Spellbound, which is about the spelling bee. That's a great.
And it goes to all the kids and their families.
Oh, so good. Young at Heart is another kind of fun one. It's about a nursing home where they have a choir. It's really sad though, because some of them die during it. But it's really, really good. And, you know, I never hate on a Super Size Me. That was fun.
I have that, but I haven't seen it in so long. I don't really remember
I don't know if it holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember liking it. I remember liking Super Size Me. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. And then there's lots of other. Going Clear is really good.
Oh,
That's about
the Scientology.
That's very eye-opening. You learn a lot. Yeah, and then you have some of the lighter ones. Beanie Mania is fun. There's some stuff like that. I just watched one the other day. It was a couple episodes. It was like, dude, hey Pepsi, where's my jet?
Oh yeah.
And it was about this kid who tried to win the Pepsi jet that was in a commercial by getting enough points, and it wasn't actually real, but they didn't say it wasn't real in the commercial. So like they took it.
It was like a fighter jet. It was like a military jet.
Yeah, it was like a military jet. So that one's fun. That's on Netflix. I also hi, buddy.
The baby has risen.
I also like a couple of other series. Evil Genius is interesting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
That one's good. Wild Wild Country.
Yes.
That's some good stuff right there. I don't recommend The Vow. Remember that?
No, there was the other one that was on Showtime or whatever that
about the
NXIVM
reviews. Cult. Yeah,
that was from the a more objective perspective. I think it was from the people who left,
right,
as opposed to the people who were in power,
maybe a little bit more in power,
who were in power but were trying to cover their tracks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then go watch the How To with John Wilson episode where he randomly name drops Keith Raniere.
Yeah, how crazy is that? Yeah, so there's so many documentaries out there. I mean,
I don't consider myself well versed in documentaries at all. You've watched more than me.
Yeah, but I specifically in the true crime and pop culture arenas.
Right.
I don't really watch like Grizzly Man is.
I
like,
want to watch more Herzog ones.
For me.
I want to watch more Herzog ones.
Oh, he's so good.
He's got a lot more that are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll like go to like war zones and stuff.
He has one in I think in Antarctica.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a war zone for like
ice.
No, it's like a war zone for like hot coffee.
It's like a war zone for also The Thing.
Yeah, that's a great movie. So that's all I have for you, Tom.
I got a little bit. I've got one thing for trivia, and it is the most Werner Herzog thing that has ever happened. So during a BBC interview about the movie, Werner Herzog was shot with an air rifle. The interview was resumed indoors. He didn't stop. It just moved inside. And at the end, Herzog was encouraged to check his wound. He didn't even look at it. He was like, all right, let's keep with the interview.
That sounds about
right. And they were
like,
dude, you got to, but wait. They're like, dude, you got to go inside. We'll sit down. We'll redo it. Though there was, quote, a bruise the size of a snooker ball, like a pool ball, with a hole in it, Herzog declared, if you know his voice, if you've seen this movie, you know exactly how this sounds. It was not a significant bullet. I am not afraid. And they just kept going with the interview. Oh, man. I have a couple questions.
I am not afraid.
I am not afraid. What do you think about Herzog inserting himself into the doc? Like,
loved it.
I know that we love it, but do we love it for documentaries in general, or do we love it because Werner is our king?
I like it in documentaries in general, because even if it's like done, like, you know, if James Cameron did a documentary, you know, he's all over it.
Right.
He would be everywhere. And I know we'd be kind of eye rolling of it. Like, of course, he wants to be the center of attention there. But I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. I think it's great. And this one is done so well. I appreciate the idea of the narrator and the director, like, being us in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was trying to find out more about Timothy Treadwell. He wasn't coming into this with, like, I don't think he started the movie by being like, okay, this is what I want to portray. He was going in and trying to find out what happened, and it grew organically from there, I think. Mm-hmm. That's the impression I get. Right, buddy? Okay, next question. Almost every single person says Treadwell wanted to be a bear.
Yeah.
Is there an animal you would want to be? Or okay, I know that you have certain stances on animals and like whatever. Let me rephrase that.
Certain stances.
Let me rephrase that. If you had to be an animal, what animal would you be?
Probably starfish.
Why?
Because they just
You know
chill
they're
up there.
poisonous?
That's right. That's the reason why.
April.
And it's not because they're just like chilling.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Because they're chilling, but also they'll strike.
that's right.
I think they're poisonous. I might be making that up.
Mine is.
I used to be really into animals and space and all that stuff when I was a kid, and I sort of lost that
Well,
interest.
maybe you can regain that.
Yeah, I gotta watch
through
Planet.
your
I gotta
child.
watch Planet Earth.
Yeah, I don't like that because they show the
Yes,
deaths.
yes, I don't like that either. But whatever, it happens.
I like when you see the cute stuff.
Yeah, Herzog would be like, "It's okay, it happens.
I'm like, this is
This
the
is
meaning of life.
the animal kingdom."
We're the circle.
I don't know why
of
I'm
life.
sounding like Cuban. Okay, I wrote, "Would you ever date the bear guy?" What do you think it is that called these women to him?
First of all, no, I would not. I would not date him. It's the hair, man.
I also said, "Oh, you wouldn't date him because it's the hair. That's why women like him."
Both. I think it's a both. I think they like a little bit of a long blonde locks, but I find him to be like he would be chronically online when he's not in Alaska.
Yeah,
Like he would be like trolling the Reddit boards.
yeah, the dark Reddit boards.
I don't know about that.
Well, I wrote, is it his passion? Like his passion for what he's doing? Like, is that infectious?
Yeah, I feel like that's nice.
Relatedly, is there a point where a person is into something too much?
Yes.
Is he past that point?
Yes, he is.
Do you think that he had a net negative or positive effect on not necessarily the bears, but on animal cruelty awareness?
No, I don't think he had a net positive because like nobody knows.
He thinks.
Like what did he do?
Well,
I don't
people.
know.
It was a famous story when it happened. Like at
When
the
he
time.
died?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, even his effect, his legacy. Like not necessarily what he was doing.
I really don't think it's a net positive,
Okay.
Tom.
He thinks God would look down on him and be proud because he does good work for free and spreads his messages.
I think that's nice, but also like
Just watch the movie. You'd be like,
nobody was poaching these bears.
yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
he made it up.
Until
That's
the
thing.
Guardian was
He
gone.
was making it up.
Until the Guardian
He was
Angel
like-
was gone.
He was like staging things to be like, look at these people, and it was like people from like miles away that like had nothing to do with the bears.
There was that one person like throwing stuff at the one bear
Okay. Yes, and that's very sad.
who was not a poacher.
That is very sad. But he like it's not like he prevented anything. He didn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And guess what? He brought attention to it, so that poachers then came.
Right.
Like
Because
thanks.
there was
dude.
no more Avenger there.
Whatever, man.
Iron Man, I don't feel so good.
Like the fact is he didn't even know that bee didn't die.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like a scientist.
Yeah.
He wasn't an expert.
Yeah.
Even though he probably was by the like
He was like a survivalist kind
Yeah.
of person more than he was
like, okay. He
Yeah.
touched poop.
He did touch poop.
He touched
And he was like, it was in her.
It
It's
was-
dude, it was like a steaming pile of poop.
So disgusting.
That was the scene right after the bee scene.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It showed kind of a little bit of an unhingedness to it.
And that was part of the like right before he was cutting the promo on the National Park Service.
Yeah. He was
And
yelling at
I
them.
loved like he was like cursing, but Herzog would mute the volume and give his voiceover over the cursing.
Mm-hmm.
So like you would see him like F this and F that like in the background, but like just Werner's like calm German voice talking.
Yeah. Being like, as you can see,
Yes.
he was not a fan
Yes.
of the National Park Service.
Treadwell had an issue with the National Park
He
Service.
let them know.
Are bears cute?
Yeah, they're cute.
You didn't say that when we were watching. I was prepared for the opposite answer.
Why?
You said bears are not cute. You said they're scary.
I said that?
Yes.
You can be scary and cute.
That is true. I said,
Think
well,
about ghosts.
I said. Okay, who's the cutest ghost? Is it Casper?
No, it's No Face from Spirited Away.
No Face. He's
so
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
He's like,
He is pretty cute. But what about when he was eating John Ratzenberger's?
no,
Spoilers
that
for next
wasn't
week.
cute. He's cute when he's like sitting at the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and just vibing.
Were you a Casper fan?
No,
Why not?
I don't trust him.
He's a little precocious.
There's
He's-
something
like
going on
like
there.
dude, just chill.
I'm just a fan.
He's a
of,
little
like-
too friendly
I like ghosts though.
in general.
I like the ghost twist. Oh, he's not a fan apparently.
Sixth Sense.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
The Hours.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
The others.
The Hours doesn't have ghosts.
No, The Hours doesn't have ghosts. That's the one with Virginia Woolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still Nicole Kidman though. I like ghosts. I just like them. I think they're cool and they're fun and they just, they've seen stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
All right, I'm cool with ghosts.
They're cute.
Yeah.
Bears, they're cute too. I don't remember saying bears weren't cute, by the way. Let's just sorry Yogi and Boo Boo.
Those are the two bears that came to mind.
What other bears are there? Little Bear
Yeah, Little Bear.
and Mama Bear and the Berenstein Bears.
Yep.
What other bears are there?
That's a lot of bears.
There's more bears.
There's got to be more bears.
There's got to be more bears. Paddington.
Oh yeah, Dub Paddington.
Paddington's cute.
Yeah. The killer bear from Semi Pro.
We're not talking about him.
He's persona non grata around here.
Exactly.
Oh man. Would it bother you? Okay, so this is related to him going to California, changing his name, doing all that. He had people back home that were like, "Yeah, I didn't care. Like whatever. He was who he was." No, sorry. It was people in California that were like, "Oh, I found out that he had like this whole other life and that he like made
wasn't
up this."
actually Australian or whatever.
So would it bother you if you found out that your friend had come up with an entirely new persona and that you were a friend of that persona and not the friend?
Yeah, it probably would bother me, but then I'd get over it. It'd be one of those things where I'd be like, "What the heck?" for like a little bit, and then I'd kind of forget about it.
Right.
I wouldn't like hold a grudge.
Right. Like if all of a sudden you found out that like Nick was from like Brazil or something.
I would kind of be like gagged with that. I'd be kind of like, really? It's kind of cool. I'd like, and then I'd say like, okay, well, I would ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, it would be like making a whole new friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
How do you think Timothy would have fared on Cheers?
Oh, he would. No. No.
You don't
Woody wouldn't have lasted.
You don't think so?
No.
He wouldn't have had the romance plot line with either of the two people that
Woody did not have that.
he didn't?
No, that was Ted Danson,
Oh,
Tom.
Ted Danson.
Oh my God. I watched Cheers. I watched Cheers.
Cheers.
I watched Cheers so much. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. All of them were like our age.
In the show?
Like Norm was like our age.
Norm was who? That wasn't Ratzenberger, right?
No, that was the
other guy with the brown hair and
Yeah.
it was like curly-ish hair.
like Jeff Garlin-esque.
Yes.
Yeah, that they were all like in their early 30s.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Well, like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like George is like 30.
29 at the first season. King George. All right. Rank some 90s TV shows. You got your Seinfeld, your Cheers, your Friends.
Cheers was in the 90s?
I don't know. 80s, whatever. They all kind of have the same sheen to me.
I guess. Seinfeld is definitely more updated than Cheers.
Really? You think so?
So you name some.
Seinfeld, Cheers, and Friends.
In that order? Yeah, I would go in that order.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Is that 70s show in that group?
That 70s show, I think it
2000s?
was later.
2000s?
I don't know. Okay, but I have this really embarrassing thing that happened to me. So I was playing Trivial Pursuit with
That
my
is embarrassing.
family,
No, I'm just kidding.
and I was like a teen, and it was like this TV show, which took like filmed in the 70s, blah blah blah.
And you said that 70s show?
Like I don't know that 70s show. It was Sesame Street.
Oh my.
And I was so
That is pretty embarrassing.
I was so embarrassed. But whatever. I got over it. No, I didn't.
No, clearly not. You're still talking about it.
I didn't get over it.
Let's see. I got a couple comments here. I said that there was a quote when he was getting hate mail, and
Timothy Treadwell?
yeah, and one of the quotes said, "A bear's diet consists of liberals and Dems and environmentalists."
Vibes.
I wrote iconic hate mail. I wrote some of the bear names down. Aunt Melissa was one of them. Okay, let's see. Jewel literally said she felt like Timothy's widow because she was a serving wench at some show he was putting on that was based on Gulliver's Travels. And she like met him in the bathroom or something, and they were like,
Yeah,
that was like how they met.
Worked at medieval times together or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wrote was that like there are so many layers to this documentary. Like it's about animals to an extent, of course.
Sure.
It's obviously really about Treadwell.
Yeah.
But it's not only about Treadwell the person, it's about Treadwell the performer.
Yes.
And of course it's about Werner.
Yes.
That's four layers right there.
Good stuff.
Very, very deep, as they would say. Oh, yeah. And not only did he date Jewel and Amy, there's a point in the beginning when Werner says he did spend time with women who will remain anonymous.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of women.
So I don't know why he had like those weird, like,
these, like,
nice guys
rants.
views.
Yeah, where he was like, "Oh, nice guys finish us. I'm a great guy. Why can't I get any girls?
Girls are so difficult.
They're so difficult, and all they want are." I'm like,
he literally said it must be easier being gay.
Yeah, it was not a nice rant. At all.
No.
He was being very, very.
He was trying.
messed up.
He was trying to be like like he wasn't yelling or anything. He was just like, "Oh yeah, it must be really easy to be gay because then like you just go to truck stops." And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? How did we get here?
First of all, no.
Yeah.
Second of all, shut up. Third of all, you have all these girlfriends.
Yes, that's what I'm so confused about.
Inexplicably.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote this guy talking about Timothy and Amy's remains is too into it. Way too into it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I wish we knew more about Amy.
Me too, but the family didn't want her.
And she was only in those 2 frames of footage.
I know.
So you don't really.
She was like a physician's assistant or something. She had like a normal job, like a good job.
Not only did they say the thing about Cheers, but he was on The Love Connection.
Yeah.
Which you could probably find on YouTube somewhere.
I'm sure.
I would bet. Let's see. Oh, remember the part when he was taunting God and
to make it rain?
Yeah, so there was like a drought or whatever, and they needed the salmon to run so that the bears could get to eat the salmon.
Like, they're starving.
He was screaming about Jesus, Allah, and Hindu floaty thing to bring summer. This guy is just.
He needs to stop.
He needs to stop. But the next day there was a downpour.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you."
Yes. I wrote that paranoia is such a large theme here.
It is. It's really interesting.
And also, I would be so embarrassed if my video diaries went public. I would be mortified if I like filmed myself all the time.
He told Jewel he wanted it. I read that. He wanted it to go public.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen to me. I wouldn't want any of that stuff out there if I were him.
Well.
Yeah, so then I have a couple of I read a review from The Atlantic, and it basically said that the deaths are the key to this movie, obviously.
Of course.
But Herzog and his experts, the experts that he interviewed, the Atlantic writer argued that they missed the point because the fact that he survived 13 years is not a bad thing. Like that's not the cautionary tale.
Right.
The cautionary tale, it's not really a cautionary tale because it's remarkable that he was not killed sooner.
True.
And they said that if anything, the particular of Treadwell's death suggests that he had found a sustainable way to coexist with the bears.
Wow.
What killed him was an enforced deviation from his usual routine.
That is true, actually. Yeah.
That summer, he had, as we said, he was going to leave. It was over the validity of his ticket at the airport. There was a problem. They returned to the wilderness. The fatal borderline Treadwell crossed, in other words, might not have been between species, but between months, the person said.
Yeah.
Herzog believes that Treadwell's death among the bears renders his life among the bears a kind of bleak joke, but arguably the opposite is true, that his life gave meaning to his death.
Yeah, sure.
While Huguenot's killing was a tragedy, it is not so clear that Treadwell's was. This is the way he wanted to die in the wild with his beloved grizzly. He said it multiple times. As one friend notes, his only regret would have been that the bear that ate him was subsequently shot by the Park Service. In an eerily prescient bit of video, Treadwell even muses that being killed by a grizzly might be the best way to get his pro-bear message to a broader public. And despite Herzog's cold, hard, brutally realistic views on nature, it seems like he wanted to be wrong about Treadwell. You kind of get that from I agree with that. He treats his ideas with respect and gives Treadwell room to breathe. And I thought that was an interesting take on the movie. Now, as you mentioned, Ebert gave it a 4 out of 4. I only have a couple quotes from him. He said, "The documentary is an uncommon meeting between Treadwell's loony idealism and Herzog's bleak worldview. Treadwell's footage is sometimes miraculous, as when we see his close bond with a fox who has been like his...
Thanks for switching with me.
who has been like his pet dog for 10 years, or when he grows angry with God because a drought has dried up the salmon run and his bears are starving. He demands that God make it rain, and what do you know? It does. Against much of the footage is Herzog on the soundtrack. He says, I believe the common character of the universe is not harmony, but hostility, chaos, and murder. And over footage of one of Treadwell's beloved bears, this blank stare shows not the wisdom Treadwell read into it, but only the half-bored interest in food. I will protect these bears with my last breath, Treadwell says, after he and Amy become the first and only people to that point to be killed by bears in the park. The bear that is guilty is shot dead. His watch, still ticking, is found on his severed arm. I have a certain, again, this is Ebert, I have a certain admiration for his courage, recklessness, idealism, whatever you want to call it. But here is a man who managed to get himself and his girlfriend eaten. And you know what? He deserves Werner Herzog. That's how Ebert ended his review.
That's great.
Yeah, so let me see. I don't think, well, food. Timothy was the food.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
He's also Mrs. Nesbit, let's be honest.
Yep.
I also wrote that his big teddy bear that he has throughout the movie is like Penguin. It's like your penguin blanket.
That is so true. Penguin missing today.
Yeah. MIA. Okay, so I think I'm good.
Awesome.
Does Grizzly Man make Baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
No doubt. Any takeaways?
You know, if you're gonna go for it, go all the way, baby.
I wrote leave animals alone.
Use opposite messages.
And I tell him that when he grabs April now.
Yeah.
It's the same message.
Yes.
I have two more. I have seek help if you need it.
Yeah.
Timothy Treadwell needed help.
Yeah.
And he did not seek it. Whether it's from us or from friends or professionals or whatever the need may be. And finally, treat people with compassion, and you will learn more about how humans work.
Yeah.
Herzog could have made this about how insane it was for Treadwell to live with bears, but instead he examined why he chose to live with them and how he reached that point. And it's Herzog's compassion, I think, and empathy that make this documentary so great.
I agree with you on that.
So great. So that's what we got for Grizzly Man.
Great movie.
Next week.
Doing a weird one.
I don't think it was that weird.
Yeah, you don't. I know.
Spirited Away. A very famous animated film from 2001.
Yes.
It was nominated for the award. It won the award.
After Shrek.
It's great. It's by the director Hayao Miyazaki. I don't know how to say his first name. Under his Studio Ghibli, you probably know what it is. It's available on HBO Max along with nearly every other Studio Ghibli film, which is pretty cool. And it tells the story of Chihiro, who is a 10-year-old girl who, while moving to a new neighborhood, basically enters a spirit world. And she takes a job working in a bathhouse to free herself and her parents and return to the human world. And it made the latest Sight and Sound top 100 list. Number 75 of all time. It was my first Ghibli movie, and it was long. Too. And it was long overdue.
And it won't be your last.
Will it be your last?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can tell you one thing: it's gonna make Baby's first watch.
Yeah, of course. So Spirited Away. Probably in a couple days. I'm gonna try to spin him around pretty quickly, because we had a little delay here. But so rate, review, subscribe, follow. You know the drill. Do it if you do it. Don't if you don't.
Vibes. Mood.
You got anything for on Grizzly Man? You got a closer here?
My closer is this: be kind to all, follow your passion, but don't be mean to bears.
And please don't live with bears.
Don't live with bears. Find a different way.
Just do anything but live with bears.
Don't live with bears. All right, that's it.
See you later.
Bye.